So yes, here we are, right in the middle of the Delhi monsoon. It's been raining heavily ever since morning, since we've been shooting, which was about 5 a.m. And believe it or not, right now it's noon. It's been raining non-stop. But you know what has also been going on non-stop? This motorcycle right here. This is the BS6 emission norm compliant version of the Hero XPulse 200, and with that it brings some changes. So today we're going to talk about what those changes are and whether that changes the value for money offering that the XPulse 200 brings to the table.
But before we get to the changes, let's start off with what's similar. This includes the combination of a 21-inch wheel at the front and 18-inch wheels at the back, which come with dual-purpose tires. You also get a high ground clearance of 220mm along with an aluminium bash plate for added protection. There is the long travel front suspension and a preload adjustable monoshock at the back, and you have an upswept exhaust for better water wading capabilities. Braking duties are done with disc brakes, both front and back, and the XPulse comes with a single channel ABS. In terms of features, you get an all-LED headlamp and the instrument cluster is all digital. And yes, you still get Bluetooth connectivity to give you turn-by-turn navigation.
Well, now that we've brought you up to speed with all of the things that this motorcycle offers, it's now time to talk about the big change, all of which is right here. This engine is BS6 emission norm compliant, as we mentioned earlier, but in order to meet that emission norm, Hero MotoCorp has had to make some changes. One of them is the fact that this catalytic converter is of course a lot bigger, and in order to fit that, the exhaust header pipe runs down now instead of the cool way it used to run across before. The other big change is that the carburetor version no longer on sale. You only get the fuel injected version of the XPulse 200.
This has resulted in a slight loss of power and torque in the XPulse as compared to the BS4 model. Now the engine makes 17.8 brake horsepower and 16.5 Nm of torque, which, to be precise, is 0.5 horsepower less and 0.6 Nm of torque less than before. Also, the engine is now air and oil cooled, which is a welcome addition and helps the engine keep its cool even when it's being pushed hard. And lastly, because of all these changes, the motorcycle weighs 3 kilos more than before and now weighs in at 157 kilos. But these are all numbers. In the real world, the motorcycle now feels a lot smoother to ride than before, and the engine feels calmer doing highway speeds. The XPulse can do 120 km per hour if you wanted to, but it feels the most comfortable at about 90 to 100 km an hour. This is because at higher RPMs there are some vibrations that creep in, but again, nothing at levels that would bother you during your ride. And speaking of the ride, well, the suspension setup continues to be absolutely bang on for city use as well as highway rides. However, if you want to do proper off-roading, you might find the suspension to be on the softer side. What's commendable is that the XPulse 200 continues to be an extremely friendly motorcycle that's forgiving of your mistakes and gives you the confidence to push yourself and get better at riding off-road. And it is these positives off-road that make it a great motorcycle on-road as well, as it almost mocks the badly broken roads and potholes, and instead of worrying while approaching big speed breakers, well, you'll actually be quite excited for them. This is fit to be a daily commuter, and you can turn it up a notch and make it a hobby motorcycle during the weekends, even in its stock setup. As for the price, it has become about 6,000 bucks more expensive, but even then, it remains to be a great value for money option. And remember, there's always parts from the XPulse Rally Kit that you can fit here, which gives you the option to put in an even longer heavy-duty suspension, proper off-road tires, a larger sprocket for a better gear ratio, handlebar risers so you can stand up comfortably, and even a higher, flatter seat if you want. So all in all, the XPulse 200 has a lot of potential and will be a great companion even as your off-roading skills continue to get better. In the meantime, it will always remain to be a great city motorcycle.
Well, now it's time to sum up the XPulse 200, and I have to be really honest with you. You know, yes, the power and torque figures are a little bit less, yes, it weighs a little bit more, but don't let any of that stop you if you've been considering the XPulse 200, because To be honest, I cannot tell the difference. It doesn't really matter because the spirit of the XPulse 200 is intact. This is a motorcycle that, well, lets you wander out in conditions like these, lets you have fun and have that adventure spirit in a budget. Improve your skills, put in some parts from the Hero XPulse rally kit that is out there, improve the motorcycle, and very soon you'll be playing with the big boys, and you might be putting a lot of them to shame, mind you. That's how good this motorcycle is. It's a great starting point. So if you've been thinking about it, check this one out. With that out of the way, the weather is great. I'm going to put my helmet on and head out for a ride.